Hello and welcome back to another one of Paul's beer reviews. Hope you're doing well today. Got a stout for you. It's a stout from Vocation and it is their Breakfast Club 2.0, described as a waffle and blueberry breakfast stout. I never actually had the original Breakfast Club stout, so it's going to be hard for me to make a comparison against the first version. But this is the 2.0 version. Available in Tesco, £3 a can, and this stout is currently in at 6.9% ABV. Let's have a quick look at the artwork. There is your blueberry waffle. Quite like that. Quite a decent looking can, certainly jumps off the shelf. We have got a bit of flavour text here. Breakfast Club 2.0, waffle and blueberry breakfast stout. It says here, seeing as you enjoyed the first round, I didn't, how about seconds? Presenting Breakfast Club 2.0 remix to be bigger, thicker and fruitier than ever. Hold on to your belt buckles, this one's a proper feast. Ingredients: water, malted barley, oats, blueberry, blackberry, lactose, hops and yeast. It has quite a few malts varieties in it. Pale malts, oats, chocolate malts, dark crystal and roasted barley malts in there. So it sounds like it's going to be quite rich, this one. Yeah, it's in a 440ml can. Vocation, of course, Hebden Bridge. Here in England. Let's crack into it, shall we? I don't know too much more about this one. My understanding from what I've heard from other people suggested that this is better than the original version. So, again, because I never actually got around to drinking the first one, it's hard for me to kind of pass judgment, but I'm hoping I'll get a nice stout. And it certainly has a very slight dark red colour to it, which would suggest there is the blackberry and blueberry content is in there. Managed to spill a bit down the side of the can. Well done, Paul. There is the can. We'll leave that there. Very nice. Here's the stout. And you can see on that head, can't you? There's a slight, almost like a dark red, slightly purple shade to it. You can see there's some fruit content got into it. But I mean, apart from that, I'm trying to hold it up to the light. There's a tiniest bit of red bleeding through at the bottom of the glass. Not sure if you can make that out. You might be able to. But ever so slightly sort of tinged purple around the head as you give it a wriggle. Kind of looks like there's a bit of red, purpley colour to it. So like I say, as you can see, there's some fruit content to it. It's not quite black, but it's a very dark stout, as you'd expect. Let's get the aroma. Oof. Blackberry certainly is jumping out at me. First thing that came into my mind then was Ribena. Getting some of those roasted malts. Slight chocolate aroma to it as well. Oh, smells really nice actually. Blackberry, chocolate. Getting that lactose as well, that gives it a slight sort of, slightly almost vanilla-y, creamy. It's kind of like sticking your, I'll get my words out. It's almost like sticking your nose in like a blackberry pie or something. Does smell very, very nice. Certainly a fruit sweetness on the aroma. Let's get stuck in, shall we? Cheers. Ooh. That blackberry in particular and the blueberry sweetness really jumps out at you as soon as it hits your tongue. Fruity sweetness, dark fruit sweetness to it. And then when that carbonation, which is subtle, comes, you then get the effect of the lactose and the oats in the malt and the brew. Gives it a very slightly creamy texture to the mouthfeel. Really covers the palate, you know. Sweetness, carbonation, some chocolatey, sort of creamy, malty character, and then at the end there's a little bit of bitterness from the roasted malts, and then there's almost like another hit of dark fruit as it fades. So it's like a sweetness rush, the carbonation rise, then you're getting that creamy, slightly chocolatey malt flavour, and then it dies down with a little bit of bitterness from the hops and a bit more fruity sweetness. I quite like that. That's quite nice. It's a very different take on the stout, at least from which I'm used to anyway. That's a dessert. That is a dessert beer, and it's about right because it's, I mean, I'm not having dinner too long ago, so this is probably the right time for a dessert. This is certainly an after dinner beer. If you've got this one sitting at home or you're thinking of buying it, have it dry as an after dinner thing. It's quite rewarding. Sweet dark fruit, particularly from blackberry. It's like a milky, chocolatey malt flavour. Really gentle carbonation, and at the back end that sweetness rises again. And you're left with almost like chocolate, dark chocolate with fruit in. Almost getting a bit of cherry on the flavour as well. It's almost like a cherry chocolate. It's unmistakable blackberry flavour when you first hits your tongue. Unmistakable. Then there's that lactose, creamy middle with the chocolate malts. There's that bitterness from the hops. And then you're left with that chocolate malt and dark fruit sweetness. Like I say, that could easily be a cherry influence in there. It's really nice. It's really complex. And the flavours are lingering as well. That subtle bitterness, excuse me, and particularly blackberry sweetness at the back. It's complex. It's different, but it's very tasty. It's really nice. That's decent. 6.9% ABV stout. I had Vocation's barrel-aged stout, one of their barrel-aged stouts the other night. I didn't review it because I just really fancied to chill and have a beer, and it was 10.1%. that was, and it'd been aged in red wine barrels, and all I got off of it was red wine, and I'm not a red wine fan. 2 glasses of red wine and I'm a mess. And to be fair, after I had that beer, all I wanted to do was go to bed. This is different. This is a slightly warming nature to it now. Now I've had a bit of it. You are getting a little bit of that 6.9% ABV, but don't get me wrong, it is masked very well. There isn't really a boozy kick to the flavour, but I'm just starting to feel a little bit of warmth in my chest and my head. My head always goes really warm when I drink a high ABV beer. That's a giveaway. But this is really nice. This is definitely a dessert beer. I think that is... I can't think of many other beers that I could describe as easily as a dessert beer as this one. This is the perfect way to end the day, to be honest. I think I'd happily sip on the rest of this, watch a bit of telly, and go to bed. I think that's what I'm going to do, to be honest. So yeah, Vocation Breakfast Club 2.0. What is it? A waffle and blueberry breakfast stout. Really tasty. Really good complexity to it. Really nice stout. I'm going to give that an 8 out of 10. I quite enjoyed that. £3 a can in Tesco. Well worth it. Well worth checking out. So if you're in Tesco and you fancy a dessert beer and something a little bit different in a way of a stout, I recommend you go out and check that one out. Not bad at all. 440ml can from Vocation. Vocation always do a good beer. Always do a good beer. So yeah, 8 out of 10 on that one. Hope you've enjoyed this video, guys. Give it a thumbs up if you have. Until my next one, you take care.